You're listening to Positive Vibes with Shane Nikolic, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. Positive Vibes with Shane Nikolic. And welcome back. Welcome to this edition of Positive Vibes, combined with Too Strong to Go Wrong, with my roommate Rico. And what are you seeing over there? Are you seeing our video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure there, because this isn't showing right over here. I'm not sure what's going on with this screen. But at any rate, forget the technology. You know, it's I can hear it in my ears, so it's all good.
It looks good over here. So
Yeah. At any rate, the last hour we were talking about how life was in prison, different high profile criminals that were in there that you met, a few of them. And that kind of story is so cool, like about that, what was that guy's name? Whatever, but the Mexican mafia guy.
Andy.
How you connected him on the phone with his girlfriend on the outside, and he was tearing up or whatever. And, he's just like, oh, hey, don't tell no one I was crying, and, oh, hey, it was sweat. I was working out. Yeah, that was the deal. And, that's like so cool to hear that.
That was positive vibes. That was vibes, being positive with him.
Yeah. And, it's like I was saying, it's just respect, give respect, you get respect. It's just like sharing or cooperation, it's like, basic stuff. And it's like you don't got to be fighting and stabbing each other with pencils and everything, and
right.
Over somebody's lunch or spilled lunch or whatever. It's like that old saying, "Don't cry over spilled milk." It's it's spilled milk. Let's get some more. Let's move on. And
usually it was over a lot of stupid stuff. The TV. Who changed the channel? It was Mexican Day today, or it was White Day today, or it was Black Day, because everybody had a day in the dorm or in the TV area. So if it was a White Day, no other race can touch the TV other than a white guy, or a Mexican Day, or nobody can touch it with a Mexican or whatever. So it was just but that's prison politics. That's how they play in there. That's their rules. That's the laws of the inside of the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
But in all, there was programs in there that had people that would teach other people how to be positive about life and how to carry yourself in a positive vibe way and whatnot. Because there was teachers that would come in from college course, teachers that would educate us on how to become a better person, how to be more positive than negative. And that was what's needed, learning positive stuff from an individual that knows what positive really does for you. It's important.
Yeah. And it's like that sort of thing was what I had written down here to ask you about was, so far as reforming from the way you were before you went into prison into, who you are now, who you are today, who you've been since you got out of prison, not doing those things before, not living the same way as you did before, so that you didn't end up back in there. What was it like in prison so far as like classes and did they have counseling or groups or whatever?
Yeah, you had counseling groups, you had your counseling group, you had your AA, you had your mental health group, your anger management classes, you had all those available. And if you had to have those when you was getting out, and you had to apply those to yourself as a being on parole out on the street, if the smart move was to take those while you was in there, so that when you already beat the traffic, so to speak, meaning once you take those in there, you get a certification, say you took the class and you qualified, you passed all your stuff, and you're good. You already put yourself in the program. So when you get out and get to see your parole officer, you present those and say, I did this already institution, I took care of all this in there. And those are certified certifications, and they are there for you. Like I said, it's just up to the individual himself, because what happens is that some guys get in there and they were like, I'm a convict. I don't need to do none of that. Who's gonna tell me what to do? You can't tell me what to do. I'm my own man. But then it's not about them telling you what to do. It's about what you're supposed to do, what the courts required you to do. That's the key. Because if the courts required you to do all that, and you sit up there saying you're not going to do it, well, guess what's going to happen? The courts win. You don't follow through when they ask you, did you do this, do that, and you didn't do it? Well, guess what? Since you didn't do that, you got a violation of your parole because you didn't follow propagandas that we gave you. So yeah, they are classes for counseling. They're all those available for everybody. You just got to take initiative and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I can relate. I can't relate to being. I was never locked up for like years at a time, but I can relate. One time I was in one of the last couple times I was locked up for being in trouble as a teen. I was. Yeah, I was in the juvenile institution up there in Seattle, and my mom and stepdad came in to see me, and they had brought me a bunch of AA Grapevine little magazines,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think they come out monthly, maybe. Yeah, I think they come out monthly.
Yeah.
Anyway, they brought me a bunch of those to read, and it's like I devoured those, I just read every single article and every word in there, because it's like, that's what I wanted, I didn't want to, one of the main things that got me in there was the drinking and drugging. If I hadn't been drinking and doing drugs, stuff I did that landed me in there never would have happened.
Right.
So it's like, I wanted to get clean. I wanted to stay clean and sober when I got out. And, so it's like reading those AA Grapevines and any other 12-step literature. That's what I was doing, because it's like, that's the way I was going to go when I got out,
Right.
Which, it ended up happening. I stayed clean and sober and been clean and sober ever since.
Oh, yeah.
And, been in the program ever since. And, it's just like you were talking about, if they wanted to be okay, basically, they had to get certification saying they did these things on the inside.
Right.
So that, it's like they'd say, okay, you're good to go on the outside, if you did
Right.
this on the inside, you basically got prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what they have classes that they call pre-release classes. That they it's like 45 days before you're ready to go home, get out. You go to this class and it's prepping you up for what to do, and then they also show you how to fill out applications, because there's some guys that have been in there for about over 30 years and haven't been out since they went in there since the early 70s and just not barely get out.
Yeah.
So they've been in there for 30 years. It's like they don't know how to do applications, so they're teaching them how to do all that. They're teaching them how to write down whatever, how to write and whatever, and et cetera, whatever. some of the things the classes they took in there and the trades, they can use those trades as part of their what they call it,
Resume.
resume onto the resume to show that they took a trade in this and this and that, and that'll help them, for jobs. But some of them guys chose not to. They'd be like, well, I don't want to show them that I got that in prison. And most of the time, it doesn't really say the institution on it. It just says this a trade they took and a college course trade they took in whatever college name of it, and that's what they put down on it. But they don't say, oh, you took this in the prison, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. It's your choice if you want to tell the people wherever you applying to, hey, look, I was in prison, I took this trade, and this is what I do. Back in the day when I got out back then, it was still difficult trying to get a job because getting out of prison and stuff was when they asked you your job description where you been at, you're missing 5 years here. You're like, why can you missing a big gap there? Then you have to kind of be honest and say, well, because I was in prison for 5 years, and oh, okay. And then you tell them that in your mind you're thinking, I'm probably not going to get the job now because now I know I'm an ex-con,
Yeah.
So now with this now and this era now, a lot of guys, people out there listening that got sons that are getting out of prison, daughters that are getting out of prison. They have organizations out there that are connected with big companies. Big companies will hire ex-cons to work at their company, warehouses and all that, etc., to work for them, and they're entitled to hire convicts to work, and they're entitled. I don't know how many anywhere between I don't know if it's 5 or 10 in their business, and because that company gets a tax break at the end of the year when they hire ex-cons to get a job and work, because they're helping get them back into society and giving them a job. And at the same time, the state is rewarding the company by doing so, by saying at the end of the year, you get a tax break for hiring these guys, these individuals or women, whatever, to work for you, and you'll give you a tax break. So there's companies out there that do hire ex-cons. So to a lot of people out there that listening to this and hear this, don't be afraid don't be thinking that, oh, there's no jobs for my son or my nephew or my daughter. They're not going to get a job because they've been in prison. They're going to find out they're ex-convicts. No, there's companies out there that'll help. Look for them. Usually the parole office and probation office, they have a book that tells them, that what companies, whatever, what places are hiring, etc. They have a connection to all that. But they have to ask for it. They have to ask from the probation. And then some of these people that are on parole and probation that get out of prison, you gotta ask them. If you don't have family members supporting you, you can ask your parole officers to. They're entitled. They got monies to buy your tools. If you got doing a construction job, you need a tool belt. You need tools, boots, working boots, and working clothes. They have monies for that. They'll give you the money so you can go buy that stuff.
Okay.
A lot of them guys don't know that because they never asked, but it's available to them. They have that available to them. That comes out of the victim's crime funding, where a lot of people pay towards the victim crime, whatever happened. They'll pay the money out, and then sometimes some of that money just goes straight into a funding because they don't have the people, they can't find the people, whatever. So they put that money into a fund for the parolees to help them get it back on their feet. So if they need tools for a job or whatever, they need to stay at a hotel, they don't have nowhere to stay, they'll pay for a room for a week. It's there. They just got to ask for it.
Yeah.
So just so they know, you guys got to ask for that. They're not gonna tell them.
Yeah.
They just got to ask.
Yeah.
That way at least they know.
Yeah, it's not like putting the money out there just so they can see it and okay, we can dig into that.
Right.
They got to know about it and ask, or at least ask about it to begin with. It's like, hey, what about this? How am I supposed to do this over here? Would I be able to get some help? Oh yeah, sure. We have help.
Yeah, and it's a lot of organizations right now. That there are organizations out here that help out a lot of ex-cons get out of prison.
Yeah.
The people out there that want to help them, you know. You gotta once again, you gotta make initiation. You gotta initiate contact. You gotta make phone calls. You gotta go to and show them that you want to work, you need a job or whatever, etc. You just don't expect them just to one day just pop up at your place or find you. Hey, I was looking for you for 3 months. I got you a job. It doesn't. It's not working like that.
Yeah.
You have to go and make contact with individuals and say, hey, look. Even at the same time, as a person that's ex-con, you have to get out there and socialize. And it's really tough for some people that been down, did over 10, 15, 20 years straight, and get out into society of a whole new world. It's difficult for them from coming from an institution, nothing but men around them, to the world with everybody around them.
Yeah.
Men, women, kids, society, people, working people, high class people, homeless people, lower class people. Everything's all in front of you, and it's difficult for them because they're like, it's just too much to grasp. What do I do? How do I do that? Who do I go to? Who's my friend? Who's not my friend? Who wants me? Who wants me to work for them? Who doesn't? It's really difficult. It is, but you have to make the connection with people. You have to talk to people. When I go play golf, I play golf and I enjoy myself. But when they ask me, what do I do in life, Rico? What do you do, man? And then I might share my story with them. Well, I'm an ex-felon. I've been there, done that. Then this is what I've done in my life, but this is what I do now. I've done gang prevention and adventure programs out here, and this is what I trained the police department, Lakewood, Tacoma PD, Seattle PD, and I share with them. They were like, "Wow, really?" I said, "Yeah, I'm giving back.
Yeah.
What I feel is justifiable for me. I'm justifying me. I'm not doing it because I'm just doing it just I want to get on a high horse. I'm doing it because in my heart I feel good because I justify what I'm doing so I can show people that if I'm able, you're able. If I can do it, you can do it,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you remember growing up and you and your friend maybe might first time trying to learn how to ride a bike, and you back then I remember, I don't know if you remember, but we used to have the little training wheels on the side of the bike, the back wheel.
Yeah.
So you used to keep those on, and you won't never fall over. And then you got that one friend you can kind of turn the wheel up, force them up, so they were kind of the nuts aren't tight on it. Now the wheels aren't rolling with the tires now. Now it's all just tire, and then I could do better than you, man. I'm gonna do without the wheels, but that's how it all starts. You just have to take the bull by the horns, handle it. Don't be scared. Rejection is scary. It is. I remember many times I was rejected on jobs because I put on the application, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes. What was it? Whatever. How much time did you've done in prison? And I don't want to put it on. I must. There was times I used to sit there at that little spot for mobile, at least 30 minutes. What and just contemplated what do I put?
Yeah.
And that's the worst feeling ever for an individual that's been in that situation. But at the same time, you got to take a chance.
Oh yeah.
And I remember putting that in a job in San Bernardino when I was staying with my mother when I got out at a linen company that delivers linen and wash linens for the restaurants and aprons and all that. And I remember applying for them a job, and I was sitting there by the office doing the paperwork. And when I got to that questionnaire, I was sitting there just looking at it like. And the lady noticed that the lady was there. She was the wife of the owner, the husband, and she noticed she was watching me. And she said, "Hey, excuse me, you okay? Is there something I can help you with?" I said, "No, I mean I don't know." She's like, "Well, no, it's okay." Just so I told her, "Well, I'm stuck at this here," and I showed her, and I didn't say that. I just showed her. She said, "Oh, well, have you been? I mean, it's not a big deal." And yeah, she said, "It's okay. We got workers here that've been there too, so you're not alone." And then once you hear that, breath of fresh air. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, so I'm not the only one, you know, really? And then, you know what? I impressed them good enough to say, look, I'm gonna be a hard worker. I'm gonna work hard for you. I promise you, I won't let you down. Okay. Her husband came in. We talked, sat down. He said, "You're hired." I remember that day. He hired me right there. "You're hired. Come to work tomorrow."
Right on. Very
And then
nice.
all of a sudden, I think it was like about a weekend. I was there. He was teaching me all the routes for all the delivery routes. They pick up linen from all these companies and all that, and he was showing me all the routes, this and this, and then he started making me a relief driver, and I was making good money, and I was like, okay, cool. Some people in there got mad because they've been there for like 3 years, and they never learned all that stuff, but I took it in, and then the husband gave me all the keys to open up, come in, gave me all the keys to all the vans, all the trucks, and said, whenever we need you as a
Nice.
relief driver, you're a relief driver. Oh, really? Wow. There were some guys in there got mad. How come he gives you all the keys, Biggie? I've been here for 2 years. Oh, well, I don't know. He just, but later on, as I found out why, he had a son that was a druggie and not that, and he screwed over his company and burned down his company where it was before. And then when it burned down, he lost everything. He started all over, opened it back up, new company, and he wanted to do with his son. But his wife told me, for some reason, you remind him of his son, a new son that he wants, and you impressed him, and he took you in like he took you in like a son.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Yeah, I mean, that kind of made me feel like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. She's, no, he really likes you. He really likes you.
Yeah.
And so, how you present yourself, how you talk to people, and if you keep it 100 as best you can, it'll take you a long ways. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like karma comes to mind. It's sort of like, you give respect, you get respect.
Right.
In order to get good, you got to give good. If, you want positivity, give positivity.
Exactly.
And it's like I've mentioned before on shows in the past, you become like the 5 or 10 people you hang around the most. If you hang in a negative circle, you're going to become negative if you're not already. If you want to be positive, hang out in a positive circle, circle of positive people with good attitudes and, doing good things.
Right.
And it's like you're talking about, you work hard, and show them you're a hard worker and a good person, and you'll get promoted, or, you definitely not lose your spot anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, giving kudos rather than giving a boot out the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the key, is just give respect, give good, give positive,
Yeah. And positive, like it's important that word speaks volumes, because without positivity in your life, about being positive and any negativity that comes at you, you'll lose. It's a battle being won by negativity if you don't
Yeah.
stand up with the positive.
yeah,
I mean, you got to look at it like this. If anybody knows about cars, and it's little simple stuff. If your car ever doesn't start or shut off or whatever, you charge your car up, and this is how you can tell positivity is always a strength. Charge your car up, get it jump start, whatever, get it started, and then let it run. And then, in order to find out if your alternator is not working, then what you do is just pull off the negative cable. And if it stays on, that means your alternator is good, because your positive's still hitting it and it's still sending the positive charge. Your positive cable's still connected. Even if you took the positive off after and it stays on, it's still good because the positive fed it and charged it up, and it's still good. Your alternator's kicked in and it's charged because the positive feed, positive interaction. It's a positive vibe. That's what it's all about.
Right on.
Being positive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like yeah, definitely. I've noticed I can speak to that on just going throughout the day. If I'm carrying myself with a negative attitude, negative vibes, and doing what I do in a negative way, just yeah, whatever, I don't care, and whoever, yeah, just don't talk to me. That sort of attitude,
Right.
carrying that sort of vibe, then chances are I'm going to be alone throughout the day because other people are going to be driven away. They don't want to be around.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking for their own positive circle, positive vibe, and they don't, I'm putting off negative vibes, so they don't want nothing to do with me, of course.
Oh yeah.
If I'm putting off positive vibe, hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. Even if I gotta, even if I had just been thinking, oh man, if I see that guy today, that's not going to be good, blah, 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 for whatever reason, thinking something negative about someone, whatever it would be, if I see them and just be like, hey, how you doing, man? Hey, good to see you, bro. It's been a while.
Right.
It transmutes the whole vibe, and that negativity is gone, and we're off, having a conversation about good stuff, or, doing something positive, building something, making something.
Yeah.
And, it's like, it's just how you carry yourself definitely weighs in on how the world is around you. In essence, your attitude, the vibe you start out with, changes the world.
Yeah.
Maybe not the entire world, maybe not, the entire city, but the people around you, the places around you, just, it changes because of the energy that you're putting out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, just people don't realize that, coming off of this pandemic and stuff, with the year lockdown.
Yeah.
As you look around, we see the news on daily. Some people right now probably don't even pay attention to the news because they hate to hear all the negativity that's going on,
Yeah.
And it's horrible. It's tragic that every time you look at the news, within every 30 minutes, there's a shooting going on. This morning, it was like, I done saw it over 4 or 5 different shootings that happened, or somebody ran a truck into a group of bicyclists. I think it was happening out. I'm not sure if it was New York City or something. A guy ran his truck into a group of bicyclists, and I think 2 of them went to the hospital really bad, and 7 or 8 more hurt and whatnot. Another one where there was one where the security guard started shooting into a crowd of people because he was paranoid because day before that he had an altercation with the shooting that happened, and he was thinking that somebody was after him. The next day they were following him, and he ended up start shooting into a crowd.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, that's so far what I read into, but we don't know if maybe he was on drugs or not. We don't know. But that was his story. That he was a young man, like 21, 22, I think, and but still doesn't give you a reason to shoot into a crowd of people that have nothing to do with your mental stability or whatever. So
Yeah, exactly.
when you see all this stuff going on, it's like every day just one thing after another. Is a shooting after another. For what? Why? Something we'll never understand and grasp. We just know it's a psychological problem, or did the pandemic really hit some people mentally and gave them PTS or whatever? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just people dying, just people dying, and people going, doing weird stuff, getting crazy, doing drugs, crimes, whatever. increasingly happening because, since the pandemic, brings to mind yesterday. My mom and I walked over to Gig Harbor for a cup of coffee yesterday morning on our, total 10 miles. We walked over there 5 miles and walked 5 miles back, but almost to the end of our walk on the way back over, there was this man. He was looking like he might have been on drugs or a mental. I'm not sure. I don't want to put any labels on it because I don't know the case. I don't know the details. But notice this guy, like I put a big post on my social media, but I noticed this guy just like he was standing against the median on the path where we were walking, but he was standing against the median, like looking toward the bridge. Then he'd be facing uphill, the opposite direction. Then he'd be facing toward the bridge, then uphill, back and forth like that for a couple minutes as we were walking uphill. And then all of a sudden he hopped the barrier. Well, he started walking uphill, took a few steps, and then he hopped the Jersey barrier and started downhill. And he hopped the Jersey barrier, so he's on the off ramp of coming from the freeway. He's walking down like onto the freeway, and yeah, it was a crazy event that happened. He walked down there. It just happened to be not much traffic. He walked across there was a couple cars coming, and one would have hit him if he hadn't slowed down.
Right.
But he walked across the eastbound lanes of Highway 16 coming off the bridge, and sort of meandered through the median area there, where oftentimes you'll see State Patrol, which there had just been one like 3 minutes earlier.
Oh, wow.
Just missed the guy. And but anyway, he meandered through there, and my mom, I had been thinking about it at the same time my mom did it. My mom jumped on the phone, pulled out her phone, called 911, told them what was going on, and there's a guy, looked like a potential jumper. She wasn't sure what the guy was doing, but so anyway, this guy meanders his way over there. A couple of cops showed up. The guy sees the cop pull up, and the guy starts sprinting toward the bridge. And another cop pulled up over that way. And anyway, a cyclist came riding up the hill and stopped and talked to us for about a minute, and apparently, well, from what this guy said, he saw that the guy that I had said was walking toward the bridge, drugs or mental illness or whatever. Anyway, I guess the cyclist saw the guy go over the rail of the bridge, but he wasn't sure what happened because he couldn't see past that point from his angle.
Right.
At any rate, I posted about it, and this morning as of that point, Mom and I weren't sure what happened to the guy, and anyway, one of my friends commented on my post. Woke up to it this morning. She said that she was listening to the police scanner, and apparently the guy did not make it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a tough recovering. It's going to be a long recovery as far as 2021 recovery and stuff.
Yeah.
If somebody's feeling down and out and not feeling like they're wanted or cared for, seek help.
Yeah.
find somebody to talk to. Even you go on the internet, find an internet that has a counseling thing that will help you out. You don't have to know the people. You can talk to a stranger and they'll probably give you the best advice.
Yeah.
But it's just difficult right now because a lot of people are just are struggling to meet ends. Whether it's financially or whether it's mentally. Especially with a lot of single parents again. They're struggling and stuff, and their kids. Just not getting back into school. Summertime is back in, so they're going to be out for summer. But they're just not barely getting back into school. Even the kids are struggling. Even the kids are like iffy about going to school. Because what if? They're always thinking, what if? And just as quick as they went to school, the beginning of them last month, there was a couple school shootings where a kid shot another kid and a girlfriend,
Jeez.
or whatever. Because the guy was with his ex-girlfriend and he didn't want her to have somebody. So, and these are kids. These are just 15, 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Acting out their anger or frustration, upon, people. So, man, because they're not getting the proper help or counseling or whatnot, whatever is the circumstance, if a parent sees their kid struggling, having some kind of mental issues, they need to address the problem, address it the best way they can, and get the help for them.
Yeah, and it's like that's one thing I did say in my post, was that well, it's like in the end, there's nothing that I don't want to say there's nothing you can do, but in the end, it's like if a person, it's like, well, okay, I back that up. There's no absolute, but it's like, okay, there's one point in yesterday's interaction with that guy that, or that situation, there was one point where I had to where I still somewhat regret it, but it's like regret, where's that going to get me? It's not going to get me anywhere good. So I try not to regret it. Anyway, I'll try and get to the point. Yesterday, that man, as he was walking down the hill, and, it was strange to begin with because he's fully clothed, yet no shoes or socks, totally barefoot. And, he's walking out on the freeway. It's like, oh, okay, whatever, guy, that's weird.
Right.
But then as he's passing by the spot where, as he's like passing by even with us, or even with me anyway, I heard him muttering as he's getting closer, and I made out just a few words there, something about everybody dies in the end, or something to that effect, everybody dies. And then he, just goes back and that was about all I could make out, and back into unintelligible mumbling.
Right.
And it's like, looking back, that there could was a sign that something was off.
Right.
And so, I could have done something. I could have said something, or, run over there. I mean, I'm a runner. I could have run him down, and, but, it's like, I have to let it go. The situation's past.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like I was saying in my post, just get out there, or not necessarily get out there. What am I trying to say? If you see something, or, you see a sign, or hear someone say something that could be a sign, and they're not reaching out, go ahead and reach out.
Right.
If you are in that spot where, it's like, you are depressed, or mental illness, depression, alcoholism, addiction, whatever the problem may be, if you feel you need help, or you may need help, reach out,
Right.
because not we, people that would be able to help you can't really read your mind all the time, or can't read your mind,
Right.
and so we don't know. We don't know that you need the help necessarily.
It's difficult to decipher all the time because you
Yeah,
try to,
yeah.
and we as an individual, we try to see it for what it is, but we don't know the whole situation. We don't know why that individual's going through that or whatever. We
Yeah.
don't know if the individual's not all there really, or we don't know if the individual just having some problems that he feels nobody can help me, and this is my resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know, and if we interact with them the best way we can, and we can only do so much, then in all truth, you did what you could. You gave it what you had at that moment. So it's tough because like you said, you saw that situation coming and you saw it kind of okay, and you passed it up. You did what you could, but it was everything was destined. It was destined. Your communication was split moment, boom, that's it. And all in all, there was probably not much you could have did, because then you could take it to the next level and say, what if I would have went up there and I saw him over the rail and I grabbed him, and then all of a sudden he grabbed me, and then also he pulled me with him.
Well,
So
yeah,
it could just change that quick.
yeah.
So you did your part. You did your part as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I see, it's like in that sort of situation, I see I've replayed the scenario in my mind, and it's like, throwing out the possibilities. It's like, okay, if I was to say something or even hop, because I could have easily hopped the median and chased him down and, grabbed his shirt, or even just jumped and grabbed his leg and tripped him,
Right.
before he made it to the bridge. And, but who knows? He could have been packing and shot me and I would have died, or he could have pushed me out into traffic,
Right.
which, okay. And speaking about going into traffic, what was weird, I mean, really freaky, is that he not only walked across the line of the traffic on the eastbound, which
Right.
was, like I said, there was a couple cars coming, and one truck did have to slow down to miss him. But he got over there on the left shoulder of the westbound lanes, and he started walking toward the bridge, and a cop pulls up on the left side behind him, like over in the median.
Right.
And the guy sees the cop, and like sprints across all the lanes of traffic, and it's sort of busy.
Wow.
Or pretty busy at that moment, and he makes it all the way across, right? And he's over there, and the cop like, maneuvers his way over there behind him or whatever, by him. And the guy like the cars are all stopped. The guy runs back across, and then it's like, there's a couple cops got out of a car over there, and the guy goes up the bridge, and that was the last Mom and I could see of him in from the angle we were at. But it's like, obviously this guy, had a death wish or whatever, had it planned out in his mind that that's what was going to happen. And, so it's like, you do what you can do, and there's not much more.
And I think on that is that a lot a lot of our homeless that we have out here is a lot of them are like veterans from way back, and it hurts to see a veteran homeless that fought for our country, blood and guts, went out there and fought, blood and sweat and stuff, and they're homeless. There should be, it's a catch-22. Let me take that. I don't want. I'm not. By all means, I'm not trying to blame our government and our system and all that, like that. But just the 2% of our government has a fault. Why are we not taking care of our veterans? Why are they homeless? Why can't we supply them with what they need? I mean, I know of an individual that just the other day, a friend of mine that helps out this elderly couple, and he needed to go to the hospital, and he went for a doctor's visit at Madigan's, but he couldn't get seen because his doctor didn't show up. He's a veteran, and your doctor didn't show up, so he couldn't get seen. But we'll direct you to another hospital. Go over there, and we'll make sure we pick up the bill. Just tell them. But the point is, still, he's a veteran. He shouldn't have to go through all that. Why his doctor didn't show up, we don't know why. I hope it wasn't a crisis. If it was, prayers out to him. But that's just a single point. That's just one situation of a veteran. But at the same time, we got a lot of veterans out there, and I personally, when I'm out and about on my driving route and doing my job at night,
Yeah.
I see a lot of older guys that are bums and transits out there, and I'll talk to them, every now and then. Hey, are you a veteran or what? Yeah, I'm a veteran. I fought the war and I fought this, and so for me, I just take it upon myself to do what I can. I might say, hey, you hungry? I'm gonna buy you something to eat. Matter of fact, I'm gonna buy you a large pizza from 7-Eleven and get what you want to drink and whatever. And then I'll give it to him. And then I'll give him $10 with it. Here's $10 so you can have for later for lunch, whatever. That's the best I can do, but that's probably the world to him.
Yeah.
So if we could all just do that and follow through, and everybody do the same thing. It's called pay it forward. How's that? Pay it forward.
Yeah.
If you could just pay it forward, that man probably won't be able to pay it forward because he doesn't have his stuff together. Now, mindful, some of these veterans, these old veterans that are out there bums, they have the stuff available to them. They just don't have nobody to help them put it together, get it together. So it's like I said, I'm not throwing off the government saying, why are you guys not taking care of them? Well, they have it available to them as well. But the person doesn't know how to read, maybe doesn't know how to write, or can't see, doesn't have glasses, and doesn't have the people to help. I know they have organizations out there that help veterans organizations, whatever, to help them do, but some of them don't want to go to it. Some of them choose to live on the streets because it's easier for them. They got accustomed to that.
Yeah.
Living on the street, it's free. I don't have to pay no rent. I don't have to pay no bills. Guess what? I ain't got to worry about nobody telling me what to do. I'm cool. And it's sad, but some people do look at it like that,
Yeah, that's like this. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things I've taken on is an idea I've had is making a documentary of the homeless here in Tacoma. Because I see them around and stuff, driving around town, going to the different spots I run and all that. And at any rate, I did a sort of a mock interview or whatever, a preliminary interview of a lady, and she's like disabled or what have you, got muscle atrophy, I guess, from basically not moving, not going anywhere for a while, months or whatever,
Right.
a longer time. I'm not sure exactly how long, but so at any rate, she has a very hard time, or can't walk and needs a wheelchair, and so in order to get around, her boyfriend went and got a wheelchair. I'm not sure if he got it somewhere or stole it, but he got her a wheelchair, and now she can get around. And then someone came by her encampment where she's at and stole the wheelchair for whatever reason.
Wow.
So it's like somehow she had to get a hold of another one, and has to get a shuttle ride to and from doctors and therapy appointments, what have you. And maybe one of these days she'll be back on her feet, so she won't have to be in that wheelchair. And
it's amazing. People will stoop that low. I mean, I'm reminded of a story of I had a good friend of mine that when I started my game prevention adventure program, and he used to be a real good boxer in the Hilltop area. He used to Golden Gloves, and really good. And then I remember him. He went to prison and got out, and then he was out there trying to hang out in the streets and do something out there and hustle or whatever. And instead of going back to his roots where he was doing boxing, etc., he got out and started hanging out on the hilltop area. And next thing you know, got around with the wrong crowd of people and ended up getting shot 5 or 6 times. And he became crippled, and he was in a wheelchair. And when I met him, I started, talking with him and stuff. And I said, you know what? I said, the craziest part about this whole situation about you and your life is that you had homeboys that you kicked it with. They were supposed to got your back, look out for you. I said, and guess what? I'm just curious to find out, who is the person that's pushing you around in your wheelchair right now? Imagine that. Guess who it was? His brother. His brother would pick him up, put him in his wheelchair, pick him up, put him in the car, pick him up, bring him out, put him in the wheelchair. None of his homeboys have come around to do that for him. None of them. And I was like amazed by wow, man. I told him my days, isn't that something, man? When you was walking, you was all right, everybody was good. But then now that you're crippled and stuff, you're in a wheelchair, who's pushing you around? Your homeboys can take the initiative to say, hey, look, I got you, homie, I'm going to help you out. No, your brother is. Your brother's taking time out of his day, his life, because he loves you enough, your brother, to do this to you, to help you. And I was just pulled back on it. And he was a good friend of mine. His name was Tony, real good friend of mine. Everybody knew him on the hill. Everybody knew who he was. It was a Golden Glove boxer and stuff. And me and him, he did a lot of stuff with the youth and youth advocacy and stuff with his kids. Started a basketball team. And then he died, I think after that, I think he died in I think 2006, I think he had died. And I felt bad because I had a good friend of mine. Well, he was supposed to be a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And from what I was told by his wife, that he had told him, can you do me a favor? Please tell Rico to come see me before I pass. Tell him to come see me. Because he already knew he was going to pass. And so he told him, but the individual never came to tell me. He never told me. So when I went to the funeral, I seen his wife and his family, and his wife pulled me to the side and told me, hey, how come you never came? Tony told so-so to tell you to come see him before he passed. Yeah. He never came. I said, I was never told. He never told me.
Oh, man.
And so she was just devastated, wow, that's amazing. And he was supposed to be your friends. And I said, well, that goes to show you what kind of friend he is, because, friends is hard to come by nowadays. It's hard to find good friends, people that's going to, be there for you and stick it out with you,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really somewhat like a tragedy because, friends are supposed to be there for you, supposed to, uplift you and see you through that tunnel, They go, they're on the other side waiting for you. Come on, man, I got you. I'm here, man. Come on. But nowadays, you don't have that many friends that do that for you. They don't wait for you at the end of the tunnel, wait till you get there. they'll cross over and they look back and say, "All right, I'll see you when you get there. I'm gone." And and then anything could have happened to you between there and passing through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find good friends. I'm reminded of, once again, another story real quick of one of my good friend of mine. He's like a cousin to me. We grew up together. We played football together, but he was in the gangs as well. And his homeboy, one of his little homeboys, supposed to be his homeboy from this hood,
Yeah.
they're gang members together. His little homeboy shot him in the back of the head with the 4.4.
Jeez.
And for whatever God's blessing and God's angels, that bullet stopped on his Mandela bone. There's that Mandela bone, the stem. It stopped right there and knocked him out. And the dude that shot him thought he killed him and took off. But it just stopped right there and knocked him out. So when the police came, the ambulance came, they checked him and brought him through, revived him. They were like, they was even amazed, like, wow, that bullet should have killed you. It's a 4.4. It shot you right in him, and then your Mandela bone stopped it. And then from that day forth, he understood. It took that to wake him up to realize you ain't got no homeboys. And you know what? I learned differently when I was locked up and doing my time. They didn't come visit me. They didn't write me. They didn't send me money. They didn't say, "Oh, here's $1,000, Rick Rock. Here's, you're my homeboy. I'm gonna send you. Oh, God, I'm gonna come visit you." No, they didn't do none of that. They couldn't come visit me because they probably had warrants and all that. So they wouldn't dare come to the police station or the prison system. No. So that goes to show you what kind of people you deal with in society. And that was back in the early '80s there. So do you imagine how it is now? The friends you got to pick and choose your battles in life.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose good friends. And if for one moment that friend showed you some kind of bad vibes, it's not positive. If that bad vibes you really bad and hard, listen to it. We all say, listen to your gut feeling. Gut feeling tell you the truth. Us growing up in the hood, our girlfriends used to tell us, oh, baby boy, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm telling you, I got a bad feeling. And we'd be like, shut up, girl. We don't want to hear that from you. You're just saying that because you don't want me to go over there. But then when we go over there and something happens, me and the homie, we'd be like, man, we should have listened to your girl, man. She told us not to come over here. Man, look what happened, man. She told us. That's just the same thing. Listen to your gut feeling.
Yeah.
Listen to your mom's advice. She always gives you the best advice. Listen to your mother. So, but, we're hard-headed. We're the most stubborn animal walking human being on the earth.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do because I know it all.
But it's like, in the end, we just got to remain teachable.
Teachable, reachable. Teach one,
Yeah.
reach one.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to remain positive in everything that we do.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everyone that if you're struggling with positivity and you need some help or you think you might need some help, you're feeling down, whatever, just reach out and reach out to someone in your life, reach out to someone you come across in your day or whatever,
or leave us a message on our screen. Leave us a message
you can leave me a message, Shane.Nikolich at Shane.Nikolich on Instagram, Shane Nikolich on Facebook. Just get a hold of me. Leave me a message.
On Facebook, you can look me up, Ricky Leslie.
Yeah, Ricky Leslie.
Look me up and hit me up as a friend. I'll be more than happy to talk with you. Message me, whatever. By all means, we're just trying to be positive people to be there to give some positive vibes, right? Yeah, exactly. And with that, I guess we're about out of time, so I'll just leave it at that and remind everyone to stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week. And we'll see you next Sunday morning at 7:00 for Too Strong to Go Wrong, and at 8:00 for Positive Vibes. And I guess that's about it. And with that, Blessings.
We're out.
Hey, we're out.
Have a good one.
one of the best musics of the world.
Breakfast Jazz. Sábados y domingos, 7 de la mañana.
Breakfast Jazz.
Breakfast Jazz, todos los sábados y los domingos, 7 de la mañana.
Only at BT Radio Universal.
L is for the way you look at me.
BTRadioUniversal.com. Estás escuchando BT Radio Universal.